Hello everyone, good day and welcome to this session. Okay, we'll be talking about HTML elements, and this is an attempt to go deeper, yes, than what we did during the last video. You know, that last video was meant to be an overview, yes, so now we are starting to, talk about HTML, more specifically going deeper, looking into what tags are elements and what you can build from there and exactly how to build it. Okay, all right, now I'll be making use of the Sublime Text Editor for this video. Okay, I intend to be very fast in my approach this time, so if you think that it's too fast for you, you can pause or rewind or slow down your video depending on the video player that you use. Okay, let's get started. Okay, all right, I'll be making use of Sublime Text Editor. This is another type of editor. If you remember, the last time we made use of Visual Studio Code. Now Visual Studio Code is what I would choose for a specific kind of project, but for now what we are doing is very basic, and this is simple enough and should work. Okay, so let's proceed. All right, now I would quickly repeat how to create your project folder, but this time we'll be doing that from the text editor. Okay, so I'll be really fast. I intend to. Okay, let's go to File, from the menu bar, File, Open Folder. Okay, now you're not restricted to what I show you here. You can look around the text editor. That's how you learn. I try to break things and fix them. All right, be careful what you break though. So just feel free. You look around preferences. You can change the theme of the editor. You can do a lot. You'll be surprised what you can discover. Okay, so for now we are concerned about creating our project folder, and we'll do just that. Okay, so I have different locations here within my computer. I would go to my desktop. That's where I prefer, and I'll go inside the start.ng folder, double click to open, and I'll create my project folder here. It will be called HTML element. So I'll come here and click on new folder. Either you come here, click on new folder, or on this empty space you right click and you come to new and you select folder. All right, this is fair enough, but this other option is the shorter method. All right, I'll use this. Click on it, and how I have my new folder. Enter the name HTML underscore element. I use underscore because I like to prevent as much as possible having a space in my URL, that's in my link, for technical reasons. So as you progress in your web development journey, you would begin to pick up some habits, in order not to fall into unwanted troubles. Okay, so that is that for that. This is the name of our project folder. I'm done. I'll click on it to make sure it's active, and I click select folder, and just like that it's open. So I'll close this window, and I have this is what I want to work with. All right, so quickly we'll come here and we'll right click on this folder and say new file. So by doing this, I will be creating a file inside this folder. Okay, I'll come here, save, and I'll call it index.html. As we said during the last video, this is the default page that will be loaded when this website is requested from a server. When you enter www.sleekcodes.com, this is the first page that will be given to you. All right, that is my index.html. Okay, quickly I would like to show this on my browser. I'll right click on here. This works with it doesn't necessarily work with all other text editor, but it does with Sublime Text. Right click on open in browser, and here you have it. All right, this is our page open here. As you can see, we have no content, so nothing is showing right on the page. Okay, so I could right click and come to view page source, and I'll have access to the code beneath, the interface. Okay, so for now there is no code here because we have no code on the back end. Okay, so let's quickly write something, HTML, just like this, and save. Once you save, come here and refresh. Let's see it here. So this is where you see exactly what's going on. Okay, yeah, I just wanted to show you that that is possible. I'll close it, right click again, and there's another option called the inspect. This gives us access to the inspector. Okay, click on inspect. We have the inspector opened here, and just like that, automatically this is the page that we are looking at. But how did we get HTML, head, body, and HTML just like that? Okay, now what happens is this: these tags, they are implied. Okay, they are implied tags, so whether you specify them or not, they get generated. There's something called the DOM tree, document object model tree, that is generated when your website is parsed. When it is interpreted, it forms a tree. It is that tree that your scripts relate with, your style sheets, they relate with. Okay, so they don't relate with the document per se. Your document is parsed, and it forms something that other programs can interact with. All right, so that's what happens. So this you are seeing here is the DOM tree. Yeah, it's the DOM tree showing. You see, when we click here now, it says elements. So all the elements of this page, that is what we are seeing right here. Although we don't have them here, but they are automatically generated. Okay, that's clear. Now this is not an excuse for you to just start writing your, for example, link, and get your style at CSS, save, come here. When we refresh, you see that we did not specify any parent for it, but automatically you see that it will be inside the head element. Am I right clicking? Supposed to. Alright, let me make this wide. Okay, as you can see, this is inside the head element, just like that, automatically. If we come here, this same place now, and write P, this is a paragraph, you see that automatically this would be in the body. Okay, so some tags are implied. The computer is smart enough to know that these tags that we are giving to it falls under the body elements category, document body elements category, or the document head element category. Okay, we have different categories of HTML elements. We have the document structure elements, we have the document head elements, we have the document body elements. All right, since this language is a standard, every web browser, every generally used and accepted web browser understands the standard behind the language, so they know that this tag you just provided is supposed to be here. So when creating the DOM tree, your elements automatically are placed where they are supposed to be. Now, you are not advised to leave these declarations out. For example, you are not advised to write code like this. No, You are advised to explicitly declare your elements. So you write everything as they should be, not depending on the computer to correct your mistakes. This is so that you do not meet unexpected problems in the future. Okay, so that's a disclaimer. Do not write codes like this. This is not valid HTML, although it will run because the user agent, which is the browser in this case now, would try to make sure that it is, represented how it should be, but this is not best practice. Okay, so we'll come here and we'll provide our Doctype declaration. Now this is simply telling our user agent or any other software that desires to know that this page would be conforming to HTML5 standard. Okay, in previous versions of HTML, you would have to write long a long syntax and long and confusing, not easily retainable in your brain. Okay, so you have to go and copy the code and paste every time, or look for a way to do that. But it used to be pretty hectic before now. But with HTML5, which is the living standard, it's as easy as what you're seeing now. So this automatically is an element. It describes this page as a HTML5 page. Okay, yep. So let's proceed. So we have a document structure element. Amongst that category, we have the head, the HTML to start with. HTML element. This is the root element for every web page. Every web page you open has this, whether it was specified or not. The DOM tree, during the DOM tree creation, it would be enforced. All right, this is the root element for every web page. This is where it's the parent for every other element you'll be creating. Okay, it falls in the document structure element. Now don't be frightened by these definitions and categories and the rest of that. You will not be tested based on this. Basically, this is just so that you know, and you know how to work. This is not like a Nigerian university where we now say list the, sorry to say, list the categories of HTML elements, or blah 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 blah. No. This will be strictly practical. Okay, when you are giving your task, it will be practical. If there's any reason for you to list anything, you can go to Google, get your answers, and pass your test. So don't be frightened. Just give your mind to learning what is being taught at the moment. Okay, so that's HTML. The HTML element, that's one of the structural elements that we have. That's one of the structural elements that we have. Okay, we have the head element. Then we have the body element. Okay, these three elements are required. You see, the HTML element is the parent element. We have the head, which is a child to the HTML element. We have the body, which is a child to the HTML element, and a sibling to the head element. Okay, so let's proceed. So moving from that the document structure category, let's go to the head category. All these elements fall in the document structure category. They define the structure of a HTML page. Okay, so we are progressing now to the tags that fall in the category of the document head element. All right, so now one of them is the link element. This is the link element. This is Sublime. It's smart, so it's automatically generating the rest of the stuff for us. Okay, so when specifying elements, you have what is called attributes. That's what you see here. The link element has some attributes. Okay, that has to be present. All right, some of them are not mandatory. For example, the type and just the type here for this case is not it's optional, but you are advised to use it because of best practice. Okay, so this is one of the elements we have in this category, the document head category. We have another, which is the meta. Okay, I will not be talking about chart set. I'll be talking about name, content. Okay, so we'll talk about this as we progress. We have the style element. Okay, we have the script element. Okay, I think this, then we have the title. Very important, very important. We have the title element. Okay, we have I think we have some few more that are not being discussed, but these are the basic that you would have to deal with when creating your HTML page. These are the important ones. Okay, for the title, your web page must have, okay, we have the base element. Okay, so you must have one title per document. So you are advised to create different titles for your different pages, okay, for your different HTML documents. So for example, this is a full website where we have the about page, we have the contact us page, we have the services page and the likes. Okay, what you do is, for every page that you create, this is the index page now, you should have a separate title. Okay, so you shouldn't name all of them one title. You should give them separate title. Now this tag is very important because search engines would work with it mostly. The browser uses it. For example, the default name for a web page, if you happen to save it, if you are on a web page and you press Ctrl S on your keyboard or Command S, depending on the platform that you are. I'm not so sure about what you use for the iOS platform, but for Windows it's Ctrl S to save a web page. What happens is that the default name given to that web page would be what you specify in the title. All right, and as I was saying before I diverted, search engines look out for what the words that you use for this element. Okay, so for example, I give this what a few now, home page, which is very lame. You should give it something specific. Okay, yeah, it should be something specific in a home page, but right now I can't just think of. Okay, let's go with start.ng HTML elements tutorial. Okay, this is more descriptive. Okay, and this is more like what you should do. Okay, so if when you give this, what happens is that most times when you want to, let me give a practical example of what I'm trying to say. I'll open the Telegram here. I'll click here and you can see these links, Wikipedia, and the next thing following is meta element. You can see a description here, HTML elements for metadata. So this is how you do this. You specify, you see name and content, where I could say description for this meta tag, and the content would be HTML element. So just like this now, what I've done is I've successfully specified what would be here and what would be here. So you could do more. You can specify an image that would appear here, although we'll not be going as deep as that. As we progress in the class, we'll learn about that. You can specify an image that appears. So this is how you get a preview when a link is sent to you. This is how you see a preview of what you're about to your view. So the title element is very important. Okay, let's do something. I want to be sure, and I want you to be sure what I'm saying. I clicked on that link and look at what we have here. Meta elements. It's clear. All right. If I right click on this page and say view page source, I can see that my title is Meta Elements Wikipedia, as you can also see there. Let me see if I can get access to the meta tags. The meta tags. Okay, we have generator, referrer, blah 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 blah. There are many of them that you can make use of. Let's go. I'm still looking out for something. Okay, this is a lot of code right now. Perhaps I'm unable to get what I want. Okay, let's proceed. But just bear in mind that the title and all what you see here, they are very important, especially your title. This should not be left out. In fact, your HTML is not valid without this element. It sounds but that's true. It's not valid. If we copy this code and paste in an HTML validator, you would discover that some things ought to be done. So maybe from your point of view now, we have a complete code running, okay, but even what we have now is not valid HTML. Valid in a sense because it will run, it will work, but there is a standard that we ought to meet. So it's important that you know what the standard is and you conform to it. Okay, so that's for the title element. The title element belongs to the category of document head elements. Okay, we have the link. Now what this link does is that it enables you link your document to an external style sheet. Okay, we know we have different ways that we could write CSS styles for a page. Okay, one of them is external styling. What this link tag does, by the way, this link tag is self-closing. As you can see, this is an element. It's called the link element, but it does not require something like this link. It doesn't require that, so it's self-closing. Okay, what you do for compatibility's sake with XHTML and XML, you provide your / here, just here. Okay, so this is a valid self-closing tag across platforms: HTML, XHTML, XML. Okay, and this also becomes valid for all. And yeah, so these two, they are self-closing, but they are elements. All right, they don't require a closing tag per se. Okay, so coming back to the link, what it does is that you specify some attributes, that are descriptive of what this link is meant for. So this link, the relationship of this link is a style sheet, and we have the type of style sheet is a text CSS. Okay, so that is that. By default, it knows that it has to be CSS, so you don't need to specify this type. Okay, but just for best practice sake, you should specify. All right, the href, hypertext reference. This is where you specify the link to the external style sheet. All right, we will not be doing that now, but when we start coding now, creating web pages, we'll specify those links. Okay, so let's go ahead to the meta tag. A meta tag is a tag that provides information that is used for processing. Okay, so a metadata is data about data. Okay, so Yeah, data about data. So these meta tags, they provide information about the document. Now this is not for the user per se, this is for other programs. All right, this is for programs like your search engines, for example Google and the rest of them. They can easily, index your page properly, and web crawlers, okay, they know what to present to your user. All right, so you can specify using the meta tag. You can specify a lot. You can specify viewport, you can specify the page author, the publication date, the expiring date of the document. You can specify a lot. You can even emulate HTTP headers using the meta tag. As we proceed, as we progress, with experience, you get to know all this. So don't bog your mind with a lot of that for now. Okay, so let's move on to the style tag. We have the style tags defined like this: opening style and closing style. This is not a self-closing tag. Okay, you open and you close. Okay, this is for internal style sheets. Okay, in case you want to write your style sheet on this same page, you use the style tag. So every style comes here, every style comes here. Okay, every style comes here. All right, you can write styles here. This is valid HTML. Okay, using the style tag for internal styling. All right, that is that for that. No big deal. We have the script. This is where you insert your scripts. For example, I come here, I say console.log. Okay, HTML element tutorial. All right, and I come here and do the semicolon. This is valid JS code. All right, so how you can view this is by coming to the inspector. Let's reload. Come to console, and here you have the code run HTML elements tutorial key. We're not doing JS, I just wanted to show that to you. Okay, the script tag, that's what we're talking about. The script element is where you specify JavaScript code. Okay, now in case you want to link to an external JavaScript code, you can specify that also using the script tag. But now in this wise, you come here and you specify the source attributes. All right, you give it the source. Here you enter a link to the external script that you want to link to your page. Okay, so you can use this tag in two different ways. Note the difference. For CSS, you use link for external and style for internal. For JavaScript, you use script for internal, also script for external. The difference is that inside one of them, you specify the source attribute and you give it the source to link to. Okay, that is that for script. So as we proceed and begin to build websites, we'll talk more about these tags. Okay, this is not all there is to the tag, but it's I think it's fair knowledge about tags for now, about the tags that falls into the document head elements. Okay, sorry, I'm kind of interchanging the term tag for elements. Okay, it's common in the web, but within you should know what is an element and what is a tag. Okay, a tag is a building block for elements. Okay, so that's that. All right. So we have the base tag. This is where you specify the base URL for your page. Okay, you should have only one base tag per document. Okay, so now here you specify, for example, let's say www.sleekcodes.com or start.ng, www.start.ng. Now if I come here and I create an image here, we'll talk about this when the time comes, and I see sleek.jpg. What happens is that the resultant URL for this image becomes becomes, don't bother about this extra stuff I'm writing, we'll talk about them. This is a comment, becomes www.start.ng/sleek.jpg. Okay, now this becomes the full URL for this file. Okay, so that's what the base URL does. It provides the root for every other relative link that you'll be providing. Okay, so that is that for that. All right, for today's tutorial, I know tutorials like this are usually not interesting for developers because they want to start coding, they want to see they want to see themselves making stuff, but it's important for the foundation. It's very important that you build the right foundation before you take off. Okay, so let's see what we've done so far in our browser. All right, close the inspector, right, refresh, and we have a null image here. Okay, so this image does not exist, that's why you see this stuff here. Okay, so if we right click and go to our inspector to inspect, we could see that we have our document object model here, our DOM tree. This is where our DOM tree is. Okay, we have our DOM tree here, and if we open the elements we have, you could see all that we have written. Okay, body, you could see all that we have written here. All right, so this is the tree, and this is the tree that your style sheets interact with, and that's your scripts interact with. This is separate from the document. Okay, it is generated from what you have on the document, but it's separate from the document. All right, so we will stop here. We will stop here and continue next time from the document body elements, talking about the the image, the video, the audio, and the rest of them. We have lots and lots of them. Trust me, it's actually overwhelming. You cannot don't attempt, I won't say you cannot, don't attempt to cram them, but with time, as you work with experience, you'll be able to know which tag to use and when to use it if you have a proper foundation on this topic. Yeah, thank you very much for staying with me. I hope to come your way next time with a continuation to this video, so stay tuned. Don't forget to subscribe to this YouTube channel for more updates in future. All right, thank you so much. Bye.